Welcome, my darkling. You've stumbled into the shadows again, seeking a tale that will scrape at your very sanity. Tonight I offer you something rare, something ancient, yet frighteningly eternal. Let me tell you the mournful legend of the Bone Choir. Come closer. No, closer still. I promise, by the end of this, you won't feel quite so alone. Or will you? The story begins with a girl named Moira. She was a restorer of the lost and forgotten. Her life's work consisted of gathering broken relics, old sepulchres, cryptic urns, shattered icons, and piecing them back together. An artist of bones, as her peers called her. One day, Moira received a peculiar invitation to restore something unique from an anonymous patron, and let's face it, aren't those always the most dangerous kind? Who claimed to be in possession of the Song of the End. The Song of the End, she murmured to herself as she inspected the letter, the ink smeared as if the words themselves would rather vanish. Supposedly, it was a hymn written long ago that, once sung, could compel the dead to rise. The only clue given was a location, an abandoned monastery in the rugged peaks of the Carpathian Mountains. In case you're wondering, yes, Moira was the type who ignored every natural human instinct for survival. You have to be, I suppose, to meddle with the past and its hushed whispers. The journey to the monastery was treacherous. Icy pathways clung to the sides of jagged cliffs, and the howling winds seemed to chant incoherent warnings. Upon arrival, the structure shivered with age, overtaken by crawling ivy and whispers of erosion. But there was something else. An oppressive weight in the air, like the building itself bore grudges against anyone who entered. And still, Moira pressed on. Inside, she discovered what called her there. A collection of fractured bones, arranged in ritualistic spirals on the ground. Skulls limned with faint carvings, their sockets beckoning like hungry voids. Moira's first reaction? To organize them, of course. Reassemble the skeletal remains like a macabre jigsaw puzzle. But as she worked, she began to notice something unsettling. Each bone had etchings, ancient music notation she had never encountered before. The patterns, hypnotic and beautiful, seemed to shift when her gaze lingered too long. And the air around her? It thickened. A faint, low hum began reverberating through the crumbling walls. It was emanating not from the wind outside, but from whatever spirit those bones still carried. Eager to learn more, she mapped the notations onto paper, creating what she could only call a death symphony. Her curiosity consumed her. She thought only of the mystery, of solving the riddle that danced tantalizingly on the edge of reason. But in her fixation, she forgot the first rule. You see, we mortals forget that toying with what lies beyond is to scrape at the very skin of reality. And reality doesn't heal easily. On the third night of her work, she hummed one note aloud. Just one. The sound seemed harmless, soft, delicate, barely audible. Yet the walls shivered in response. Dust fell from the ancient beams, and the melodic hum embedded itself into her skull. Was it her imagination, or did she hear faint whispers joining hers, forming an unseen choir? Impossible, she told herself with a nervous smile. But the following night, when she continued to piece together the bones and transcribe their eerie symphony, a single voice spoke. Not from a person, no, from the bones themselves. "Why do you awaken us?" it whispered, filled with a hollow ache that made her spine chill. And really, she should have fled then and there. But you already know she wouldn't. Instead, she responded, "Are you alive?" Alive. The skull nearest to her seemed to creak on its own. "We were sung into death, woven into sound so our torment could last. And you, meddler, have found the finale." Moira tried to laugh off the impossibility of it all, dismissing the voice as her own paranoia. But the whispers spread. Layers upon layers of ethereal voices emerged, harmonizing uneasily as she worked. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't melodic. It was anguish, shaped into sound. Then came the final step, reassembling the central skull into its rightful place among the spiral. Her trembling hands placed the bone amidst the carved runes around it. No sooner had she done so than the room exploded with cacophony, 1,000 shrieks overlapping in terrifying dissonance. Her head spun as shadows splintered across the room, and the air turned frigid. The bones lifted in unison, held together by something unseen, and then, like clockwork, they formed a choir. Hollow mouths parted, and the room quivered with their ghastly aria. "We are the Bone Choir." Moira tried to run. She really did. But the ground seemed to stretch endlessly beneath her with every step. The notes of the song wrapped around her limbs like chains, dragging her back toward the choir she had unleashed. "Join us," the voices sang. "Become one with the eternal hymn." Her screams, they say, joined the song. Whether she vanished that night, or if her body was ever found, has become the tale of drunken whispers. But it's rumored that if you visit that monastery and linger past nightfall, you can hear the choir swelling in number. And if you hear her voice, Moira's voice, you must run. For one never escapes the Bone Choir twice. So, my dear Darkling, the question is, do you enjoy a serenade? Or would you rather pretend that songs don't have power? Either way, the next time you hear singing that chills you to your very soul, you may have already joined their eternal audience. Sleep soundly tonight. I'll be watching.